Recording in progress. I'm back in this.
Okay, yes. Okay. Good evening, everybody. I think, yes. So most of you have joined. Yeah. So we will start with today's class. Okay. So okay. So in yesterday's class, we were discussing about exceptions, right? So we dealt with how to deal with exception. Okay. So how to catch the exception. Okay. How to print a custom message whenever an exception occurs and so on. So, okay. So we have dealt the exception concept completely in yesterday's class. So coming today, we will be dealing with date and time. Okay, so date and time are one of the important concepts in any programming language is concerned. Like if you are building an application that uses the concept of date and time, then you will be needing these functions. Okay, so your application might be using the date, current time, etc. So then you will be requiring to work with that. Okay, so when you have requirements to work with respect to date and time, Python also provides. Okay, so Python provides us a pre-written file. Okay, so there is pre-written file which you have to import. Okay, which you can import and work. Okay, so let us say in Python, date and time are implemented using a module named date time. Okay, so one of the most important point to be remembered while working with date and time in Python is there is a module. Okay, so I hope you all remember about modules, right? What is module? Module is a pre-written file. Okay, so it has different classes, different methods. Okay, regarding that concept. Okay, so that concept, all the files are written. You need not to write that whole again, and you can just import that. Okay, so we have taken modules class as a separate class, and you can also, if you don't remember, you can refer to that. Okay, so there is a date time module in Python. Okay, so if you want to work with Python, date and time in Python, what you have to do, you have to import that. Okay, it can be imported to work with all the date as well as time. Okay, so single class with which when imported you can use work with dates. You can also work with time. Okay, so Python date time modules comes built into Python. Okay, that means that whenever you install Python, the date time module is built in, so there is no need to install it externally. Okay, so there is no need for you to install it by date and time. Okay, so Python date time module supplies classes to work. Okay, the classes provide a number of functions to deal with dates, times, and time intervals. Okay, so this date time function, it provides us many functions. Okay, so yeah, like you can use this date time function and use it as per your requirement. Okay, so as far as our class is concerned, we will try to learn the basic, like how to understand how to use this date and time. Okay, so let us go to my compiler. Okay, so today I will be using this Visual Studio. Okay, so let us just import. Okay, import date time. Okay, so what is this date time? Date time is a file which is pre-written. Okay, every time you install Python, you have this date time. Okay, so I don't want to mention date time again and again. So what I will do is I will rename it as dt. Okay, so whenever you write after the name of the file, if you write as and write any other name, then it means that now you are renaming. Okay, you are renaming this date time as dt. Okay, so there has been renaming happened. What inconvenience I am having is I don't want to write this date time again and again. So instead of date time, you can write dt. Okay, you can give any name you want as per your requirement. Okay, so this is how you can also rename different modules. Okay, so you can rename different modules while you import them by using a keyword which is as. Okay, use this keyword called as and rename the module which you are importing. Clear? Okay, so then, okay, one more thing, like I hope my voice is clear and even the screen is visible, right? So I'm assuming that everything is good and going forward. If any problem, you can please message me and tell me. Okay, so then going forward, what let us do is, let us create a date object. Okay, yeah, Gautam is saying good. Yeah, thank you, Gautam. Okay, so then let us create a date object. What I will say is I will say date underscore object. This is simple variable like we used to create a is equals to 10, b is equals to 20. Similar to that, it is a date object. Okay. So then in date object, if you want a date object, you have to go to that file called date time. Inside that file, we have a class called as date. Okay, so we have a class called date inside date time function. Okay, so inside this date time module, you have this class called date. Okay, so if you want to access that class, you have to go first into dt. What is dt? Dt is date time dot date. Okay, dot write today. Okay, so what will this give? There is another method called today. What does this method will do? This method will give you the today's date. Okay, so what is today's date? Today's date is 8 March. So you will be able to get today's date using this. Okay, so what is happening in this statement is I am going in the date time module. There is a class called date. Okay, so inside the date class, there is a method called today. So I'm accessing this method. Why am I accessing this method? I want the date of today. What is the date today I want? So if you want that, you have to use this method. That's why I'm using this today method. So whenever this method is giving me today's date, I want to store in some variable, right? So I am creating a variable whose name is date object and I'm storing in that. Simple. Okay. So I hope this line is clear to everybody. Then what I'm going to do is I just want to print. So what I will do is print date object. So I have printed this date object also. Okay. So now let us run this. Okay, so as you can see, at the end of my output window, there is a date being printed. What is the date? 088, then 03 March 2022. So normally the format is year, month, and date in Python. That's why it is printing in dot format. So we are able to get today's date. Okay, so this is how you will be working with the date time module. Okay, so how if you want to get today's date, like I'm just demonstrating you how to work with the date time module. You have to create an object to store the date. Okay, so once you have created the object, go into date method and go into today method. Okay, so say you don't only want today's date, but you also want the date and time. Okay, so say you want today's date and the time right now, whatever the time today is. Okay, so then what you have to do is create the same object date time. Okay, take the same object and go to the same module called dt. Inside dt there is a class. Okay, so what is that class? The class is, let me take you here. Okay, so as you can see, okay, date time. Okay, so like there is a single class called date time, there is one more class called as date time. Okay, so there is class called date time. Since this class will give only date, this date time class will give date and time. That's why its name is date time. Okay, so the date time is a class inside the module date time. Okay, so date time, then write a method called as now. Like there was a method called today, there is one more method called now. What will this method is going to return? This method will give you the date and time. Okay, so that's why it is called as date time class inside and now method inside the date time class. Okay, so now what we will do is we will again print that. Okay, clear. Okay. Let me just print this again. Okay, so that to understand whether I'm getting time or not. Okay, so then let me just run this again. Okay, so as you can see, there is only date being printed. Okay, so let me just why it is only printing date. Okay, 1 second. Should have printed. Okay, so even this method is printing. Okay, 1 second. So now there was small error which I did. Okay, so I have corrected that. Date object. 1 second. This auto write is yeah, 5th line. Yeah, Abhichavan, thank you for your assistance. Yes, now we are good. So there was little problem like in hurry. Like I wasn't able to concentrate on the program and I just didn't give the correct variable name. I was printing something else. Okay, so there was the problem. So like the same thing, there is nothing new what I said. Like just I am accessing the date time class. Okay, so like you can see what is this dt? Dt is date time module. Okay, so inside this dt we have this date class, inside this DT, we also have this date time class. Okay, so what will this date class will give? This date class will give you only the date. Okay, so that's why we were only able to get only the date. But there is one more class inside this date time module called as date time class. Okay, so inside date time module, there is class called date time class, same name, they are having same name, but they are different. Okay, so inside this class there is a method called now. So what is this now method will give? This now method will give you both date and time, like it is also giving hours, minutes, seconds, and even the microseconds are being given. Okay, so this is how you will be working with date and time in Python. Okay, so let us go further in this. Okay, like let me show you the next topic we will be showing is we have to instantiate a date. Okay, so when you are instantiating a date, okay, say that you will not be needing the current date and current time always. You might want to save some other date, right? So when you want to save some other date, you have to instantiate. What is instantiating? Giving some other value or giving some initial value. Okay, so to a date, that is called as instantiating a date. So let us just instantiate it. Okay, so what I will do is I will remove this line. Okay, so now I don't want to print today, but I want to print my own date. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to print whatever, like you can print whatever date you want. So when you are printing, you have to follow this format. Okay, so let us say I want to print the date as 1947. Okay, then what is the month? I have to print the month, right? And I want the date as 15. This means that you can pass any custom date as per your requirement. Okay, so that you have to pass to this, you have to pass that to this date class. Okay, so let me just run this. So as like you can see, the respective date has been printed. Okay, so like we used to store values in the variable, you can also give custom dates, like whatever date you want in the date object. Okay, you can store the custom date in your date object and work according to it. Okay, so this is called as using the date object. Okay, so before going further, I want to remind you that like what are we doing here? We have this date object. Okay, so then what are we having? We have this class called as date. Okay, so where is this class called as date? This class called as date is inside this date time module. Good. Okay, but while I am creating object, I am passing some variable. Okay, so like you can see, this is a constructor. I just want you to revise our previous concept. Like we were discussing object oriented program, we have like there we defined a method called as init method. Okay, so like I said, I hope you remember, I have said you that this is kind of a constructor. What is a constructor? Constructor helps us to instantiate values. Like constructor helps us to give initial values. Okay, so like the same thing I am doing here, but I don't have my class. The class is somewhere in the Python installation directory, but here I am just passing the variables to the class. Okay, so here I am just using the constructor. Okay, so what is this? This is the constructor of a date class. Okay, so why do you use constructor? We use constructor just to have initial values to the variables. Okay, to the variables in a class. Okay, so I hope this is also clear. Then let us go further and let us see what do we have today. Like print today's year, month, and date. Yes, so then like because there is this date, right? This date object, sometimes you don't want to print this whole date. Okay, so you might want to print only the year. Okay, so when you want to print only the year, use the date object. Okay, so then use a dot operator and write year. Okay, so that means that this date object is a date object. It has day, it has month, it has year, but what I am going to access, I am just accessing the year. Okay, so let us see what is going to be printed. See, now I'm just able to see only the year, which is 1947. Similarly, if you need, you can just access only the month. Okay, see, only the month August is being printed, and if you want, you can only access the day. Okay, so you have to just use the dot operator and mention the respective month, year, or day. Okay, so as you can see, even the 15 is being printed. Okay, so these are little basic things, but if you are writing certain big program related to date and time, you are really going to need this. Okay, so if you have a date object, you can extract only the year or only the month or only the day of that from that date object. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Okay, so then what we will do is, let us see, let us go to my object. Okay, what is this? Okay, then we have this time object. Okay, so time object is similar. What I will do is I will remove this. Okay, so instead of date, we will proceed to time object. Okay, so similar to date, you can also have time object. Like I have mentioned here, you have to mention start with hours. Okay, then minutes, then seconds. Okay, so this is how you will be having the time object. You can instantiate your time object like similar to the date object, but you have to follow the sequence, like first only mention the hours first, then minutes, and then seconds. Simple. Okay, so let us just run this. So you can see I have given the input as 11 hours 2 minutes and 6 seconds. The same is being printed in my output screen. Okay, so this means that whenever you want to instantiate a date, use the date class inside this DT module or date time module. Okay, so whenever you want to instantiate time, use the time class inside the DT module. Okay, so I hope this is clear to everybody. So the same thing is there, like in the date object, you had access independently the day, month, and year. You can also access independently the hours. Okay, like let us say if I want to access the hour, just write date object dot hour and run this, and you will be able to extract independent hour. Okay, as you can see, there is independent hour. Okay, so if you want, you can also access independent minute. You can also access independent second using the dot, hour, minute, and second operators. Okay. Yes, so yeah, then I think yes, so I think this is what we have about date object, time object, and date time object. Okay, so then after that, yeah, so then there is one more thing called as if you want to differentiate. Okay, say you want to differentiate between two dates. Okay, so whenever you want to differentiate between 2 days, just instantiate 2 dates. Okay, so then you simply use the difference operator. What is the difference operator we have? The difference operator we have is minus. Okay, so what am I doing is I'm instantiating D1 date as some 8th March 2022, which is the today's date. Okay, so then I'm instantiating D2 date, which is 2021 12 31st. Okay, 31st December 2021. So what I want to do is I want to calculate how many days have been passed in this year, like starting from the 1st Jan of 2022. I want to know how many days have been passed. So what it will do is you have to subtract these 2 days. Okay, so this, when you are having this type of requirement, you will have to subtract these 2 days. Okay, so when you want to subtract 2 date methods, no need of any rocket science. What you have to do is just use a difference operator, which is minus, and differentiate D1 and D2, and let us just print that. Okay, so just let you know, the output is always in the day format. Okay, run, start debug. Okay, so as you can see, it is saying me that the difference is 61 days, 67 days. That means that from the 1st of January, okay, or from the 31st of December, there has been 67 days passed till today's date. Okay, so you are able to calculate the difference. Okay, so apart from that, I want to give a small assignment for you. If you are interested, you can also try. Okay, so what I want you to do is, like, if I like say if I give you here as 2020. Okay, so again it is going to print me in the days format only. It is giving 432 days. Okay, so what I want the output is, I don't want the output in days. Okay, so what I'm going to want, I want the output is years and months and days. So it shall say there has been 2 years, 3 months, and 8 days. So this is what the output I want. Okay, so what you are going to do, just take these days at 432 and then just use the day method. Okay, so I will leave all this to your imagination. You can use any method. I don't want you to like spoon feed you. So okay, so just take this 432 and divide it by 365. Okay, so when you divide it by 365, class 640. So yes, so let us continue. Yeah, so what is the task I was going to do is, I want you to try to convert this 432 days into my output as 2 years, 3 months, and 8 days. So what you will do is just divide it by 365 and you will be getting the error. It will be 2 years. Okay, so then divide the remainder by 12. Okay, so when you when you divide the remainder by 12, you will be able to get in the month, and you will also get in the day. Okay, days. Okay, so just try it by yourself. If you find spare time, or please try. If you are going through any type of examination, which most of you are going, it's okay. You can skip. You can try it any other feasible time you find. Okay, so you can go through Google, or you can search Google and try to solve this by yourself. Okay, so even if you use Google, it is no problem. The aim is for you to learn. Okay, so then let us go further. Okay, so after that, okay, then we have this formatting. Okay, so what I will do is I will copy this. I don't want to waste time typing. So I have this date. Okay, so what is the date I have? 8th March 2022, which is stored in my date object, which is D1. Done. Okay, so then there is method for each date type, date object, which is called as string format time. Okay, it stands for string format time, but normally we will write it as strf time. Okay, so what it will do, it will print the date as per your requirement. Okay, so you can print the date as you want. You can print the date first, or month first, or year first. You can print in the US format, you can print in the UK format. Okay, so that is what it helps you to format your time. That's why it is called as strf, string formatting timing. Okay, so what is this program will do is, yes, so I have a date. Okay, so then what I want is %D prints the date. Okay, %M prints the month, and %Y, always remember %capital Y will print the year. Okay, so then what I'm formatting is I want the slash in each. Okay, so when you want the slash in each, okay, so because you are wanting the slash in each, so you are introducing slash in the middle, then you are storing it in the object D2. Then what we are doing is we are just printing the D2, nothing rocket science. Okay, so then let us let us just comment this. Okay, so and run this and see what is going to happen. Run article. So like you can see, you have today's date, but like normally, like you can, if I scroll you upwards, the first we used to have year, then followed by month, then followed by year. This was the normal output date format which the Python gives. But now I am able to change the format. Like my current output, what I am having is I am having the date first, then I have a slash. Okay, so then I am having the month, then I am having a slash, then I am having the year. Okay, year. Okay, so this is what helps you to format your date as per your requirements. Okay, so similarly, now let me uncomment this. Okay, so after I uncomment this, like you can see, I am printing the same date, but instead of having / in the middle, if you want, I am keeping the dashes in the middle. Okay, so now let us just run this again and see. I hope you know the output. It is same, but instead of slashes, we are having dashes. Okay, so yes, so this is a special function which you have to know about datetime function, which helps you to format your output. Okay, so you can format your date time as per your requirement. Okay, so this is what we have about datetime function. Yes, then we have example. Yes, so basically as far as our class is concerned, basic Python is concerned, this is what you have to know about date and time in Python. Okay, so I hope this is clear to everybody. If anyone has any doubt, that you can please ask right now. Okay, yeah. Okay, then like this concept ends our Python concept. Like we have covered almost all the concepts which are programmed, or which of the program which has been designed. Like our institute has all these concepts to be taught, so we have covered this. Okay, so but in this batch we still have like 7 to 10 days remaining. So what are we going to do in 7 to 10 days is we will be seeing different types of examples. Okay, so we will implement each and every concept again with different types of examples. We will implement lists, we'll implement modules, everything. We will try with different types of examples on our class. Okay, so if you are interested in trying with example, if you are thorough with the concept, please try to attend the classes from tomorrow. Then what I want you to do, what I want you to see is I have this Excel sheet which covers all the concept which we have discussed. Okay, like given with the day. Okay, starting with, we have started on 14th Feb and we have been going through all this concept. Okay, so we have started with introduction, input, output, different operators, flow control, if statement. We have discussed lists, factorial, else if statement, functions, default parameters, modules, this everything. Okay, so these just for you to know, just for you to go through whatever the concept have been discussed. I have prepared this Excel sheet which I will be sharing after the class. Okay, so what I want you to do is go through this concept. Okay, go through each one and try to analyze whether you are okay with this concept or not. Okay, so if more than two people like say we haven't understood this object oriented programming, like this classes and objects is not clear, then what I will do is I am ready to take those concept again in a single class. Okay, so we will take it again, no problem. Okay, so like say someone hasn't understood inheritance, like we will do the inheritance concept again. Okay, so if you say, like if you have 50% understanding and there is 50% doubt, I want you to just go through previous videos, our recorded videos. Okay, so rather if there is no doubt, we have our normal program will be continuing. Okay, so what is our normal program from tomorrow's class? We will be discussing different example programs. Like for today's class, let us start with a program to find square root. Okay, so let me just take you to the compiler. Okay, and remove this. Okay, so how are you going to square root? Like I hope everyone knows how to calculate square root. Like if you have 16, then square root of 16 is 4. Simple. Okay, so if you know simple maths, the concept of square root is clear to all of you, I hope. And then let us calculate square root. Okay, so I don't want to waste time. What I will do is I will just copy. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just getting a number from the user and just storing that in the variable. Then I have this operator. Okay, so what is this operator? Okay, so the main focus for bringing up this program is for you to understand the exponential operator. Okay, so you might not be doing exponential operator, but here once you do this factorial or square root program, you will be understanding. Like you have this double star, right? So what will this double star do is it will give you the power. Okay, let me just take you here and take a pencil. Like say I have 2 star, again a star, and 3. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that 2 power 3. Okay, so what is the name of this operator? This operator is called as exponent, or this is also called as power operator. So what it will do, it will take the left side operator as the base and the right side operator as the power. Okay, so it will just power. Okay, so now let us say you have to calculate the square root of 16. Okay, so in mathematics, the square root is normally denoted as to the power 1 by 2. Okay, so you can write square root as to the power 1 by 2, or simply as simple as the square root. Okay, or else this, what we will do is to improvise, what we will do is we will replace that 1 by 2 as 0.5. Okay, so 1 by 2 and 0.5 is same, right? So what I will do is I will just replace the number 1 by 2 as 0.5. So this is how we are going to know the square root of a given number. Okay, so yeah, so then let us go to the program, and now I want you to look the program now. Okay, so like I have the number, right? What is the number? A. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm keeping the number as the base and then having the power as 0.5. Okay, so when the number is multiplied 0.5 number of times, what are we going to get? We are going to get the result. Then I'm simply printing the result. Okay, so just for you to see the result, let us run this. So here it is asking me to enter a number, and I am entering 16. So I am able to get the value as 4. Right? So for the square root of 16 is 4. Yes. So let us also try whether we will get, because we are working with floating point number, whether we can get the answer in decimals or not. Okay. So now what I will enter is enter the value as 5. Like you can see, you are also able to get the number in decimal format, right? Okay, so now I have a special requirement in this program. That special requirement is that I don't want the output in decimals. Like if the square root of 5 is 2.236, I just want the value as 2. Okay, so what can we do? Okay, so just to eliminate all the decimal points. Okay, so any hint or any practice you have, any operator, anything you have, I want you to suggest me in that. Like I don't want the output as 2.23606, but instead I just want the 2. Okay, so we have many operators or many steps in Python to do. Okay, so I want any one of you to suggest what can we do to correct this. Abhi Chauhan is saying integer. Okay, and Gopi is saying floor R. Okay, so I don't know what is floor R, Gopi. So, but yes, Abhi Chauhan is saying integer. Yes, integer will be doing what we want. Okay, so integer will be correcting. Okay, so let us just try integer and see how it is going to correct. Okay, but I don't think integer will also. Okay, but let us see what will happen. Okay, so run. You have to experiment. See, even after having an integer, so we are still getting floating. Okay, so I will don't panic. So like I will explain you, because here we are having a 0.5. Okay, what is Python understanding? Python is understanding B as a floating point. Okay, so because it is understanding B as a floating point number, even though A is an integer, there is no effect. Okay, so what we will do is we will explicitly convert B into an integer B. Okay, so to convert B into an explicit B, explicitly just use this type conversion. B is equals to integer of B. So what it will do now, since the B was floating type, now we were able to convert it into integer number. Yes, Abhi Chauhan is saying int in second line after equal to. Yeah, you can write int. Yeah, Abhi Chauhan, very good. You can write int right here also. Like I said, I can write int here also. Okay, yeah, yes, very good, Abhi Chauhan. You can do as you have mentioned. You can do as I have written also. Like I just want to keep it simple. So let us do both. Let us try both methods. Okay, so now let us just run this. See, now the square root of 5 is being reduced to 3, right? Yeah, yes. Now let us try what Abhi Chauhan is saying. So I want you to know everything. Now let us just, you no need to have a special statement. You can just convert the variable into integer on the go. Okay, so just convert it like this also. Okay, so very good, Abhi Chauhan. Let's see. Let us convert this like this and try. See, you are getting the same result. Okay, so yes, and then now let us say I want one more thing. Like let us comment this. I don't want this right now. I have one more requirement, which is I have a variable called as B. Okay, so what am I doing is I am dividing A with 2. Okay, A with 2. Okay, so then I am printing A. Okay, now let us just run this. Okay. What is the value of A? The value of A is 5. Okay. So I am getting 2.5. Okay. So now I don't want to convert this. Okay. So without converting this number, this B into 2.5, I might want to use this B further in the program, right? So I don't want to convert this. Okay. But instead I just want 2. Okay. So because the output is 2.5, now I don't want 2.5. I just want 2. And I can't even convert it to integer. If I convert it into integer, there might be some problem. Just imagine there might be some problem. So I don't want to convert it into integer. Yes. So yeah. So Abhi Chauhan is saying double floor. I want everyone to know this. I expect everyone to know this because we have discussed this. Okay. So whenever you have this double division, okay. So this is called as floor division. Okay. So what is this floor division going to do? This floor division will return the real value in the previous on the number scale of the previous real value. I will show you, no problem. Okay, so let us just test it first. Okay, so see, we are able to get that same number without even converting, right? So how was this possible? This is possible because of floor division. One more thing I want you to know is like, let me take this pencil. Okay, so like we have this number scale, right? In number scale, we have 1, and then we have 2, and then we have 3, right? So in middle, we have 1.1, we have 1.2 up to so on. Then we have 1.9. and 2. Again, we have 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.9. Then we will be having 3, right? So what is this floor division going to do? Whatever the number output you get, let us say you get 1.2, it will return the nearest leftmost real value. Okay, so these are called as real value. So let's say if you get 2.5, what is this floor division going to do? It will give you the nearest leftmost real value. Okay, leftmost real value is being returned by the floor division, let's say even if you get 2.9 also, what is the value you will be getting? You will be getting the value as 2. Okay, so this is what we have about floor division. Okay, so this is how we will be discussing. Yes, so let us wind up for now. Okay, so this is how we will be discussing example programs from tomorrow onwards. We will try to cover every concept. Okay, so I did not want to do these example programs earlier because it will be having different problems. Like one program can have list, it can have modules, it can also have classes. Then you will be getting confused. Now that you have covered every concept, you will be able to understand that program. Okay, so that is why from now onwards we won't have any explicit concept like modules discussing in each class. We will be doing some nice examples to understand different concept. Okay, so the aim of this example is not to, like for this square root example, this is not to calculate square root, but to understand the exponent operator and also understand the decimal operator, how to eliminate decimal numbers, how to convert it to integer. Okay, if you have spare time, I strongly recommend you to attend classes so that you might know more and more programs. Okay, so that is what we have for today's class. And anyone who hasn't, like I am compelled to inform you that everyone who is attending classes, please register for you to get the certificate, because I think the 11th of March is the last date. Before last date, please register and get yourself a certificate, which will be which will boost your resume. Okay, so yes, and yeah, so that's it. Anyone has any doubt? We have a minute remaining, so I can spare you 10 to 15 seconds if you want. So any doubt regarding anything like classes or concepts or anything, you can tell me here, or you can WhatsApp me or anything. Okay. Yes, so seems like we are done. Yeah, so okay, so I will send you the notes and we will meet tomorrow at the same time. Yes, these concepts are enough for you to learn Python, but what more you want? Yes, this learning Python, this is enough. You have covered everything about Python, but what add-on you have to have is you have to do multiple types of programs. Okay, not even 10, you have to do at least 30 to 40 programs using all these concepts. Okay, whenever you do these programs, like if you are appearing for job interview, there you will be given a new program, so there you will be able to develop your own code. Okay, so you have to add on this with many different practice programs. Okay, then only you are said to be job ready. Simply learning this concept is not enough. You have to learn applying this concept also. Okay, so yes. So this we have less than 1 minute remaining, so we will end this class. If you still have any doubt, we can discuss in tomorrow's class. Okay, yeah, thank you everybody.